Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and Born in the Fire America mod. Today we're going to take a look at the brand new update for this game that comes with quite a few things. We've got the Russians, they've finally been added, but more importantly we've got 1812 units for Great Britain and the United States. So now we can finally make some War of 1812 videos here over in the North Americas, so to speak. And I'm thoroughly excited about this because I've got myself pretty excited over the idea of making a Niagara campaign video, which would feature most of the major battles that took place in between sort of Canada and the United States over there on the East Coast and near those big lakes, near the Niagara Fall and whatnot. I mean, it's called the Niagara campaign, so of course that's where it took place. I do need to read up on it a lot more though, just to get a good understanding of it, but there's some pretty cool major battles that we could cover. There's a really cool one which is sort of like a US amphibious assault on this town and fort that lays near like a lake and a forest and hills, and it's really cool, and I should be getting some mappers to get working on that ASAP because that would be really cool. So what are we gonna do today? Well, this is more of a preview battle. I just want to show off the 1812 stuff, but it's not only a preview battle, it's also a big announcement saying that I'm gonna do my future Men of War battles differently. I'm gonna try and take them to a new level in terms of ambience and realism. In most cases, I've just really done straight out battles, one map, one battlefield, one video, one set of deployed units, and that's it. And sometimes, and mostly, they're quite good. You guys do enjoy my battles, but in the future, I want to add a larger scale to it. I don't care if the video is an hour long. If it really shows and depicts that battle while remaining exciting and action-packed for everyone watching, then that is a success to me. So what we're doing today is we're watching these men from the 7th Battalion of the 60th Rifle attacking a light infantry company here as the Brits are moving south. This is later in the war because the 7th Battalion of the 60th Rifles wasn't raised that early on. And we're heading south into America, into the United States. And this is after the attempted invasion by the United States north. And it didn't really succeed all too well. So this is part 1, and part 2 will be included in this video as well. And as you can probably tell by the thumbnail, it's bright out, and this here it's dark. So this is part 1. We've got some men here from the 60th Rifles that are trying to give themselves, and the British rather, an advantage in tomorrow's battle. So this is during the night of the day before. And they're attacking this bridge, and they're going to try and wipe out this light infantry company and secure this village. Now, both sides will deploy exactly the same amount of units on the battlefield today, or in this video. And I'm going to try and make it really balanced for tomorrow as well. But whoever wins this night scenario, this night skirmish, will alter or will have an advantage in tomorrow's battle, which will be in this video as well. So if the United States win, then perhaps they'll build better fortifications, and the Brits will certainly be able to attack from a much smaller area, and it'll be really difficult for them to kind of get a better staging ground for the tomorrow's attack. And we'll be on the same map, and the rest of the map will be revealed afterwards behind this fog of war here. And if the Brits win, they'll have a larger staging ground, and the Americans will be less prepared. So, or not less prepared, but they'll have less defenses and area to defend, and less angles, and just less advantages in general. So, once again, we've got about 40 men from the 60th Rifles attacking about 60 men here from the light infantry company that is stationed in the area. Another 40 men of this light infantry company is stationed back here, and they'll be able to join in as reinforcements. And I do believe another 60 British infantrymen, like half a company, has been assigned to join the attack as soon as the 60th Rifles here have secured the bridge. So all in all, there will be a total of 100 men per side in this skirmish to make it really even. And tomorrow, we'll see how the advantages have shifted depending on who wins tonight. So I'm thoroughly excited for that, and I want to do this for all the battles in Red Rising, and Rob's Realism mod, and Rising Sun, and PlanetSide, and Star Wars Galaxy at War. I don't mind if my future videos are really long. I just really care about them being high quality. And I've recently been a little unmotivated. I've been struggling myself personally to find motivation because of a lot of things that have been happening to YouTube, and it's really been affecting my channel. But I'm going to switch that off and just remember why I do this, and it's for the passion of creation and creativity and entertaining you guys. And I hope you guys will appreciate this. As always, support is really, really appreciated, and open for suggestions to anything. Also, another little setback is I'm no longer working with Mighty Mapper 123. He's a great mapper, but unfortunately, him and I couldn't really come to an agreement in terms of the workload that was expected of each other. He wants to grow his YouTube channel, and I really, really, really support that and understand that, and I respect that too. Of course, he should do what he pleases, but he left me kind of hanging, waiting for maps when I could have myself done more work or contacted other mappers. So now I have contacted other mappers. I've got a whole gang. We're going to be a new squad, and we're going to be pumping out some seriously cool battles. We're going to do War of 1812 campaigns. We're going to do a U.S. invasion, or sorry, Japanese invasion of the Americas, or the United States rather, and stuff like that. So it's going to be really, really cool in the future. I'm also going to be getting a map pack for my Wasteland 2 series, which is done by GG Knife Master, so that should be coming in any day now, and I can start working on the Wasteland 2 series, and that is so exciting. So yes, unfortunately it came a little suddenly, but you know, you can't expect the best out of everyone all the time. But anyway, enough about that. Not much harm done. Here we've got the Brits, the reinforcements that will arrive as soon as the 60th have secured this bridge, because if they try and march across this bridge when it's not clear, they're going to get shot down, because, you know, it's 1812, you march in columns and shit like that, and that's what you do. Unfortunately, the Russians that came with the update are not for 1812, they're more for the 1700s, and so far I don't believe there's the French for 1812 either, so we can't do any real Napoleonic Wars battles later, but yes. Enough about the introduction. Hope you guys enjoyed this first part, and I'll see you guys in part 2. I'm super excited to see who will win this first skirmish and how it will affect the battle later. It'll change the terrain. I'll be building fortifications and defenses and whatnot depending on how it goes. So I'm really excited for that, and that is something I want to apply to all my future Men of War battles. So yes, without further ado, I'll see you on the battlefield. Enjoy the video. Bye. Said bye. I mean, this is literally like 10 seconds later, but here we are. The battle is about to begin. We've got 40 rifles here. That's correct. 40 rifles from the 7th Battalion, 60th Rifles. Yes, we've got about 20 on this side and another 20 over here in a sort of a double line formation. More of a skirmish formation, and they'll be advancing over here on the right side. There's less cover here, so they're going to start further back and kind of silently try and make their way up into the forest, where they can meet the American defenders on a more even level without being at such a disadvantage out here in the open without cover. Over here on the left side, they're going to kind of start the fight by attacking the bridge, killing all the defenders to then allow a company of line infantry to enter, and obviously then clear the way, and then hopefully knock out the rest of the American light infantry in the area. That is at least the British goal. The Americans will do their best to defend, hold the bridge, at least defend the village here, and then wait for reinforcements. It's going to be an extremely even fight. Numbers are going to be even at 100 per side towards the end of the battle, so both sides will have deployed the same amount throughout the fight. Now, I did say in the first part, the introductory part, that this was going to be like a 1 hour long video, and then I realized that that's gonna take so long to render and so long to upload that this video probably won't be going live today. So since this battle will most likely exceed 20-30 minutes of actual combat gameplay, it'll be a separate video, and then the part 2 with the daylight battle, so to speak, the part 2 will come out later. And I said that the thumbnail was gonna be like daylight or something. I'm not entirely sure if I mentioned that or not, but no, probably not in this case if the battle did not head to the day. So, or if we didn't include the daylight battle, which I've already decided that we're not going to. So enough of that talk and discussion. Let's start the battle with the British ambush. The rifles will open fire in a sort of a volley, and then the rest will kick off. So I'm thoroughly excited to see who's going to win this first part, and then obviously secure an advantage for the main battle coming out later. So let's see what happens. Start advancing on the bridge, and immediately the Americans are pulling back. They're obviously overwhelmed. This is going to be really cool. It's going to be a very slow-paced battle, but I'm really excited to see how it's going to go. It'll be kind of hard to spot the defenders in the forest, but they'll give away their positions with all the muzzle flashes and smoke. But we see some of the Americans actually moving down to the bridge. It's vital that they try and hold the bridge so that the Brits can't cross line infantry on it. But it seems like they've already lost it. They have a few defenders still here, some just trying to find some cover. It's really, really hard. He's going to hide in the bushes and return fire. But a few rifles have actually made it to the bridge itself. As soon as they clear it out and really capture it and cross the bridge themselves, they'll give the signal to the line infantry section back there to advance. And that'll even it out for the attackers, because the Americans currently field more troops. But reinforcements should arrive shortly after this camp has been attacked. Right now, these defenders aren't alerted right now. They're just relaxing. They can't really hear the battle. They can't really see it. And the people back here are preoccupied actually fighting the attackers instead of running back to try and alert them. But if they do run back, they will be alerted. So it'll all be up to the AI. We do have a few sentries up here on the high ground, covering behind a tree. They'll be able to open up nicely down below as well. Sometimes I say a lot of things and I wonder, what the hell am I saying? Open up nicely down below. I think in my brain that meant open up as in fire down below, or on the units down below, since they're here on the high ground. But yes, I don't think I've been misinterpreted or misunderstood all too many times. Although I do catch myself thinking like, what the hell did I just say? Many, many times. Well, the rifles are here on the left side are definitely clearing the bridge, but they haven't really just taken it just yet. There's a few defenders back here that probably have engaged with the rifles. But back here at the quartermaster and whatnot, they're just relaxed. Oh, but you see the muzzle flashes in the distance, all the fire, and it's really cool actually. Really cool looking. For king and country. Yes. Very nice stuff. How's it looking on the right side? Have the rifles actually gotten themselves into the forest? I do believe they're at least on their way. They're covering in the tall grass right now. Lots of good fire being put out. Oh, it sounds so nice. So if you guys want to see more Born in the Fire America mod battles, let me know by liking and subscribing and commenting on what you would like to see. I would like to make more of these epic big battles. And definitely I do want to make that battle of, what was it called now again? Was it, I can't remember what the name was, but it was during the Niagara campaign. And that would be pretty sick. Near the Niagara Falls, so to speak. Well, this camp has more or less been emptied. All the American defenders have made it to the high ground here, and they will be defending behind rocks, trees, and in tall grass, occupying a slight high ground. You can see a few light infantrymen over here. It's a nice image. It's a nice scene. Oh, a little cheeky fire around the corner there. I actually meant to go down a little further and catch a screenshot. That's why I paused. So it wasn't lag. It just kind of freeze-framed it there for a second. Here come the British line infantry reinforcements. Beautiful. They're marching in, of course. I'm not gonna run a column into battle, no. We're marching. Beautiful. Fantastic. I think this is worth a screenshot. So good old. We're not gonna try and break the ambience here. We're not really doing so, but we're just getting down and gritty and catching a little screenshot here in the dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and disable the clip camera, which means I can actually go down and catch screenshots. Excuse the slightly spazzed out flag carrier. He's excited. He's double timing it while keeping the same pace. And there we go. The officer's gonna split off the line, and the rest of the infantry is going to charge. Actually, they're gonna just like send out a few skirmishers to the right. But I think that should be the last bit of that formation. So removing the clip camera allows me to really, really zoom out far and close and get the best screenshots and angles possible. Look at this American light infantry here. How cool, hiding in the grass in the darkness here. There's like the moon is illuminating the field of battle, and in between the tree crowns you can see a pretty enlightened battlefield or terrain. Enlightened That means like you're aware, you know, of something. But I suppose it all derives from the word light. So if an area is enlightened, then I suppose it's just lit up, you know? Anyway, a lot of the light infantry is being killed off. Let's do a little casualty check. We'll do the Americans in yellow and the Brits in red. And so far, the Brits have done a stunning job at taking little to no casualties. So far, just only a few riflemen that have been killed. And the line infantry just arrived, so the American defenders haven't really had a good chance at getting any shots up at them. But the battlefield will take a drastic change as we close into the area over here, where there's more American defenders. Once again, an even number has been deployed, and the Americans are just waiting for the rest of their company to arrive. As soon as this area is alerted by the British presence, then the remaining reinforcements from a camp nearby on the other side of this road will be called in, and that will definitely even out the playing field a bit. But so far, the Americans have just taken so many casualties to the very skilled riflemen. Obviously, a pretty unexperienced American light infantry company is going to stand little chance against perhaps a much more experienced 60th Rifles, who've obviously done service in Europe and whatnot. So they did raise a new battalion, which was the 7th Battalion, and I reckon they might not have had a lot of experience, but obviously there's a lot of veterans from the War of 1776, the American Revolution, but do keep in mind that was like almost 40 years ago at this time, and a lot of those veterans are either dead or not really on foot on the ground like that. I suppose there's been yeah, but so experience does play a big part. Okay, so the Americans are being somewhat pushed back across the road over here. This camp is being cleared out, and the British line infantry is definitely resorting to the right here. Very few men are moving to the left. There's a few riflemen just keeping an eye on the American presence here over to this side, but this is the main objective. Well, there's even a standoff between a light infantryman and a rifleman here. I wonder who will come out alive. He's reloading. The rifleman is right here. He's gonna move closer, and then he's gonna pop a shot. Missed. And then he's gonna run back. It's time for the rifleman to test his aim. It takes a while to reload these guns. He missed as well. Oh! Bullet landed quite far behind. Interesting little duel. This camp has still not been alerted. Perhaps another American soldier will run back and call him, but so far the battle has not hit them, despite all the muzzle flashes and fire back here. Have the Brits lost more men right now? Hardly any. There's a few up here. I believe that's an officer killed, who kind of took the charge very literally, but it's been a cleanse. The poor American light infantry was kind of caught out in the open, but reinforcements ought to arrive very soon. That'll definitely change things up. There's a lot of Americans still back here. They're kind of hard to spot in the darkness, but they're spread throughout the area. A few of the light infantrymen here over here on this side have now started engaging. Part of the riflemen that were... A few of the riflemen that actually moved up to the left. But once again, very few did. Oh, nice shot. Brought this guy down with a headshot. That's very impressive. Yep. This place has been alerted now. They're aware of the British presence and the fact that they're under attack. We're under attack. Man the defenses. So the American soldiers will be manning the defenses now that they're under attack. Some are a little unaware of what's going on here, slightly confused, but the officer back there is leading the section across the road to take the fight to the Brits out here in the forest. And the closer to the Brits they charge, or the further up here they get, the more breathing room they will give the reinforcements that will be arriving from this direction. So if they chose to stay and fight the Brits at the road, the reinforcements will get barely any footing on the battlefield, and it would be likely that they would be forced to retreat. But if the garrison that's currently engaged and deployed, if they charge out and attack the Brits in the forest, it'll give the American reinforcements arriving at this very moment a much better fighting chance. So they've been called in now. So they're going to scramble the rest of the company, and the deployed units on the field right now will be very even in numbers. So here comes about another 40 Americans. And I suppose perhaps 20 were alive previously. So there's about 60 out of the 100 100 deployed Americans alive right now on the field. And they're immediately going to be resorting to the stone wall here and try and kind of spread out. They might even be moving closer to the bridge, which is undefended right now. The Brits captured it, but they're going to lose it just as quickly. Oh, there's a few riflemen over here in the forest, though. A few stragglers. So that'll be its own little battle. But the main fight will be going down over here. And as you can tell, the Americans are trying their best to defend here, left of the warehouse. Casualties are varying, but I think we'll start seeing a lot more British casualties as we progress now. It would be really interesting if the Americans did manage to win this, though, as well, because it would just mean that the battle coming tomorrow would be so drastically different. They could reinforce the bridge again, they could set up barricades, bring up artillery, and when the Brits would later attack, I'm going to give you a quick preview of the area back here, which is pretty big. There's a whole camp which will be filled by Americans tomorrow, and a hill back here that the Brits need to secure. So, it's about another map this big plus this battlefield, so it'll be a very big battlefield for tomorrow. But if the Americans won, the Brits would have a very small staging point, which would just kind of be focused around the governor house here. They'd have to set up artillery, and they'd be really like bunched up with their positions, right? So the Americans would have a much easier chance, or better chance, at holding the Brits back. Yes. So that would be interesting. It would make for a very interesting video and battle. But let's open up the mini-map and let's see what we've got here in terms of progress. The British units will be represented by the red dots, and the American are in blue. And right now the Reds are very, very focused here on the right flank. They kind of abandoned the left a bit, and I think I know why. The left is a lot more easily defended, and the Americans are obviously hugging onto that right now quite nicely. So the stone walls are very formidable, and they're hiding behind them and taking cover behind them. Some are in front as well. But now that the Brits are moving up on this side, I think they will see themselves head more left. A few of the flanking forces here are taking fire from the left. There's quite a lot of Americans held up here in cover, and some are starting to pull back now. The British force on this side is just sort of overwhelming. I understand entirely. I'll make a very rough estimate and say that there's about, judging the casualties, there's about 80 Brits remaining. They have taken very few casualties throughout this fight. And Americans, I'd say they're running about 50 to 60 right now. So the Brits are in an advantage, but positionally, strategically, no. They're definitely not in a better position like that. They're all very bunched up, but that means they're providing themselves a very good force, a very good punching force. They're unlikely going to retreat, but they'll take more casualties if fired at from any flanks. We can see a few dropping as we speak. So that's quite interesting. Lots of American casualties around here, and I think we'll see a lot of the force on this side pull out. They'll pull back, so it'll come down to the troops on this side. Interesting indeed. And we have 2 Brits remaining on this side that kind of pulled back. A rifleman and a line infantry soldier. They're gonna join the fight again, though. Nice to see, nice to see. While the Americans have secured the bridge again. And now they're gonna be heading west? This is the north, where the Brits will be coming from, obviously, and this is the south down here. Makes total sense. Looking at the world map, too, if that is one of your pet peeves. And then let's head back into the cinematic mode and finish this battle off with a few cool shots. We're gonna have some pretty close quarter combat here. He's looking around, but he's not really seeing any. I don't think he's looking far enough. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, it's a trade. It's an eye for an eye. Oh, they're shot in the back. Oh, he's shot in the head. Jeez. Holy crap. Is that bloody? They're just doing their best to hold back here. Oh, man. They're so close to each other, they can't really see each other. Will there be some melee soon? Oh, God. Yeah, they're being shot down as they run.
So when they're reloading, they can't really do melee, and if they're too close to each other, the AI kind of doesn't know what to do, really. I think it stresses out a little bit. But the Brits have finally secured that flank now. The line infantry and riflemen will be moving up. What a bloody fight. The center of the village is what needs to be defended now. The Americans have themselves a very formidable line here. Things can turn south, go south real quick for the Brits, though, if they attack too carelessly in the open and in too big of a formation. Once again, the Americans are still holding this hill here with light infantry. So the riflemen and line infantry of the Brits, well, we'll see what they'll do. They're flanking around now. Got a big party. Big party of fighting men. Look at that. Isn't it cool to see the mixed green uniforms with the red? Combined arms, to say the least. Now they're starting to secure the camp itself. Oh. Cover's being shot down. I like the gray uniform of the American line infantry too. Very cool stuff. He's going to resort to running instead of fighting. Oh, there we go. Oh, this man was hiding inside the tent. He was shot down as well, but he did kill a redcoat before he went down. There's a few alive here too. He's in decent cover. But the rest of the contingent have definitely moved north again to the bridge. That's a nice little section over there, trying to support the soldiers down here. I want to see how this guy's going to go. He's got a lot of Brits coming down on him now with this kind of weaponry. The only way you could get more than one kill here is if he shoots someone and then resorts to melee. It's unlikely. I don't even see any bayonets attached right now. They're not focused on that. We'll see how that goes. Isn't it funny how they used bayonets 100 years into the future still? I mean, they used bayonets in World War II too, granted, and they have bayonets today too as well. But like, think about it. 1812 or 1815 even, you know, Napoleonic Wars, lots of bayonets and muskets, and then 100 years in the future still stabbing each other in close quarter combat like that. It's kind of interesting. I suppose it becomes more and more rare now as ammo capacity is increased and firearms are more efficient and more reliable. Oh shit, is he wounded? Oh, he's gonna be knocked out. He was shot and then wounded, and then he was ultimately knocked out. So the Americans have come around the flank now, or the Brits have come around the flank entirely and secured it. And what remains now is a contingent that is much smaller and that's been kind of forced around. The Brits are coming around in a overwhelming circle, but once again, this is just part one, and this is like 25% of the big battle. So what's the advantage the Brits are going to get if they win this? Well, first of all, they're going to be able to deploy along this entire road and then come up with a big force and attacking the Americans from one direction like that. The disadvantage for the Americans this time around will be that they won't be able to hold this bridge. They'll have to spread their forces out over a larger front line over here, which is going to be harder to defend, as opposed to actually containing the Brits in this area. So the British force would then entirely have to start from this section and then spread out to the other 3 squares of the square, so to speak, or the larger squares, if you want to divide it into 4 slices of a square, or 4 squares inside a larger square, you know. So that's kind of the situation right now. I do believe everyone comprehended what I just said, but they're fighting quite bravely. They are. We'll finish this off with the last stand. Ooh. Pulling back is just even exposing yourself above the wall, making you quite a target, and you can tell, oh, even just standing up is going to get you shot down. Holy crap, they took his head off. Oh, that was nasty. I don't know what these guys are focused on. Yeah, let's send them to the wall. I don't know why they were just standing there, dazed and confused. Oh man, shakos are being shot off their heads. Wow, I think the rifles and supported by line infantry later on did a stunning job at actually ambushing this camp late night like this. They caught the Americans slightly off guard. The Americans did kind of manage to reform and create a battle line, and there's still even troops out here fighting, which is quite nice. There's a few of those British stragglers coming in from behind, and they're still in a pair. They're still in a combat pair, as you can tell. two of these lads over here fighting side by side. But that's genuinely quite cool. And now the British troops on this side are gonna swarm in to finish off the rest of the American defenders, and then they will secure the field. So later on during this morning, they'll be sending in line battalions and artillery and whatnot to occupy this previously held American village that was actually held by the light company that we just witnessed here. And then they'll prepare their battle lines along this road, I do believe, since they've secured all of this, so they can definitely have a larger deployment area. And the Americans over on this side will have to fortify the area slightly differently than they would have if they won this battle. So that'll be cool. Part 2 coming out tomorrow. It's gonna need a lot of scripting and building. Needs to be a lot of units placed down too. I'm aiming to field about make this 4 or 5 times as big as this, so we're looking at about 1,000 soldiers, and I think that would be quite spectacular indeed. Would make for a very, very, very cool line battle. Hope you guys will join me for that, because I'm sure that'll be very exciting. I don't think we need to watch more of this right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this preview of the War of 1812 units. Look at this guy, he's coming down here. Melee. But he was shot. Oh, he's shot. Oh, but then he, like, fired his weapon. Did he kill someone? I'm not sure. I heard someone scream further down. So a few of the remaining light infantry is just going to pull out. They're kind of unimportant right now. But yes, good win for the Brits in this case. We'll take a look at some of the casualties. The British casualties will be represented in red. The American casualties in yellow. And you can tell that there's a clear pattern here. They started taking a few more here as they went on to attack the Americans on the higher ground. But early on, the 60th Rifles did stunning work. And what do you expect? I mean, it's the 60th Rifles, man. Like, they're good. They're good. But the Americans are going to field more elite units tomorrow in the later battle. And it'll be really interesting. We're going to have light infantry, rifles, line infantry, Highlanders, guards, grenadiers, artillery, maybe even cavalry. Who knows? I'm not sure if there's cavalry in this mod, but I know another mod that has cavalry. But we're going to resort to using one of the Fire American mods. So very, very, very good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this fight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow again. Ciao.